Hi, Jay here. Thanks for watching my video. So I thought today we're gonna have a tackle of Magnolia Blossom Park. That's the base game park in Willow Creek. Now you might be looking at this and thinking, Jay, that's not Magnolia Blossom Park. Well, it is the lot, as you can see if I zoom out. It is the lot that Magnolia Park normally sits on. But as you can see from the top, whoop, zoomed in too far, from the top left-hand corner here, it's actually the Lost Gardens of Healing. So this lot comes in your library if you have the Sims 4 romantic garden stuff. And I thought, well, now it's actually a national park in the library, but I have left it to be just the normal park lot. The only difference is in a park lot in The Sims, you have to have a chess table and playground equipment, whereas you don't need those on a national park lot. But I thought this is a much nicer looking park than the one that comes in the base game. So what we're actually going to be doing is using this to replace the Magnolia Park. But as you can see, it's actually smaller than the lot. So I'm going to try and have a little bit of a rework. It is going to be more of I'm just going to try and keep the same sort of aesthetic, but a much more of a softer rework rather than full like overhaul. Okay, so I'm gonna do it, I think, maybe as a speed build, and then we'll have a proper chat about it at the end of the video. And we're back. I'm not sure how long um, that was in the video yet, but for me, it's been about 4 hours since I last spoke to you. But we're coming to have a bit of a tour. So I kept this entryway very much the same, just so I sort of extended out each side because this kind of building it would have been kept very symmetrical. So I wanted to keep that sort of vibe. Now, as you can see, it's this lot in the world. I changed the lot name to Magnolia Gardens because it's a blend of Magnolia Park and the Lost Gardens. Now, so you can see it's got a lot of like dirt paths. It's got a road and then like a lot of dirt paths connecting it into other parts of the world. So I did want to link that up. So as you can see, it's connected into this bit here. And if we come down, we'll go first up into this section here, just a little entryway where we've got some seating and another sort of a little planted fountain. Now, if we come to the left, we go into what is essentially a reception area for a wedding. Now, I do wish I had another dance floor. I know the dance floor I picked is a bit off for the vibes, but it's the one that came with the throwback, like the 25th anniversary event, and it's the only dance floor I have. If you have other ones that come in a pack, I would recommend swapping. It's just that's the only one I have, so that's the one I've used. And see, I've put it under the speaker here because obviously with it being while it's open, so you're open to the air, so your Sims will feel cold. It is sheltered, so we don't have to worry about rain here. And then I put this little buffet table. Again, this is the only buffet table I have. It's the one that came with that same event last year. It does get tagged as base game, but I think it's a case of if you didn't do that event, you don't have this item. However, there are plenty of other buffet tables that come in other packs. So if you don't have this, I would just swap that out for some other bits. Now, obviously, with this being a park lot type, the game won't spawn a bartender, but if you were going to have a wedding event here, you could hire one. Now, my thinking is this would be like a spring summer wedding venue. So you've got the covered section, not only for the dance floor and the bar, but obviously if it was raining, you have still got a covered section. Now, we'll come down these stairs through this archway. Now, firstly, we're into more like the outdoor dining area. So if it wasn't raining, you could come and sit at the picnic tables. But then we continue up into the wedding venue section. Now, it did take me quite a while to fiddle out to get this fountain tool right. I've never really done much with fountains in The Sims 4 as yet, so it was a learning experience, but I think I kind of got the vision that the ceremony actually happens in this outdoor plant with all these plants and things around it. Now, you might be thinking, obviously, there's not a lot of seating. See, I think in real life it would be kind of a smaller wedding venue, um, but the main sort of thinking is, however, it's The Sims 4. You'll be lucky if you can get two people to sit on these seats and watch your wedding. Like, it's not great. So it's more just for aesthetics than function. What I would say is if I don't have wedding stories, if you do have that pack, I would maybe take the flower petal aisle from that pack and have it link up down this path leading up to this archway. Now, this one, the what they call Perennials for Millennials arch, is providing the decor, but it's not actually functional as a wedding arch. It's just a decorative arch, which is a shame because it would be a really pretty one. Which is why I took this. Had a bit of a fiddle about with it, but I took this just white wooden one from base game, and I've used move objects to sort of slide it in because even though you can see it's not like if you look, you can see it's not the same piece. I thought it blended well enough so that we can. It's the same as 4. Sometimes you have to play pretend, and it kind of fits nicely. Now, if we so then let's go back to the front of the lot, and what we'll do is we'll go in the other direction, back from the front here. So we've got those debug toilets across the street. which are going to be helpful. But if we come this way, obviously the chess tables are a lot requirement for parks in The Sims 4. Now you only need to have one, but I put in a few. I thought for first off, I thought, well, in gameplay, if you need the chess tables, they're usually kind of taken up by NPCs, so you end up struggling to get one. Whereas in this way, you've got plenty of options. But also, it kind of makes I think that maybe there's like a chess team that meet here and they have their practice. And I put the easels in there just for some extra functionality, extra skill building items. And then there's this decorative fountain, mostly just to take up the space. If I'm honest, I wouldn't. The only reason I extended this section was to keep it symmetrical with the side I was using for the wedding, and it kind of needed to be that way. So if we come then down these steps, we've got a little orchard. Now, so you saw me getting these trees out of debug. So for some reason, the cherry trees are like already um, fully grown, whereas these trees like the grow fruit tree, the apple tree, and the lemon tree, um, you're gonna have you would just have to wait for them to grow in game. Now this is a big observatory thing. Not gonna lie, it's a little bit out of place, um, but I kind of lined it up right. So mostly I put it down here because it's a woohoo spot, so your Sims can consummate their marriage just by coming to the other side and getting fresh, as Agnes Crumplebottom would say, in the observatory, which of course comes out here, as you can see, where the another bit where you've got obviously this cake stall, I think, by the looks of that sign, and it connects into the dirt paths around the lot. If you follow my videos, you know I like the pebbles terrain paint texture that comes in the base game. Now, if we come along here, I put a magnolia tree in because obviously it's Magnolia Gardens. It makes sense. Then a little cypress tree sort of hedging this off as what's like the small playground area. I was tempted to just like stick the monkey bars somewhere where you wouldn't see them and couldn't get to them just so that the game thinks they're on the lot for the requirements. But I thought it takes up space. Um, Unfortunately, there aren't any base game swing sets. Swing sets and slides are paywalled in The Sims 4, which, to be fair, what you expect. Having your Sims pass wind is actually paywalled in this game, so not sure which pack that's locked behind off the top of my head, but it is paywalled. These swings they actually come from Life and Death, but I thought in the White Swatch they kind of had the same vibe as the monkey bars from Romantic Garden stuffs, but I haven't used that much from. These are the only items I've used from Life and Death off the top of my head. So if you don't have that pack, don't worry about it. The lot of you just won't have the swing set, but the lot will still function. What I'd say is for this lot, you really need Romantic Garden stuff if you wanted to download it off the gallery. But I have used some other packs, but very sparingly. Now I put some other telescopes here out the back. Now this leads to where the wishing well is. Now the wishing well is the gameplay function that comes with Romantic Garden stuff, and essentially you can have your Sims wish for things. Sometimes it goes well, other times it can go pretty badly for your Sims. It is a bit of a it can be a bit of a curveball, so it's fun to use sometimes, which is why I think I wanted it in this save because this is kind of all of these builds that I've been, well, not all of them, but some quite a bit of my builds um, I do sort of use in like creating a default save. So I thought, well, having this here, it's certainly much more functional than the original park, um, and also gives me the wishing well installed. Now, as you see also at the back here, I think this it does kind of go into this dirt path. Now, obviously, it's not quite as strong here because you've got these little patches here and then some stones and like a dirt thing running through the trees. So I think maybe it's less of a connection, but it's there and you've got sort of the path running around these um, sort of trees. Now I have put little private pockets with some seating area in. Not gonna lie, the only reason I did this was to hide the bins. Um, yeah, that's it really. Same on the other side, hiding the bin here. Now if you come through back this side, you see this path takes you back through to the wedding area where the gravel path connects into the aisle. But if we're going to go up these steps, this is kind of just a bit of a nothing room. It's sort of like a corridor, but it's decorated. Oh, I need to put another wedding pillar. So then I've got one in each corner here, and your Sims just sort of walk around. It's mostly just a corridor to get into the toilets, where you've got one on one side and then the mirror image on the other. Um, they are, as you can see, just marked as WCs, so the Sims will just treat them as a gender neutral bathroom. Now, if you come back down the stairs into this main sort of courtyard space, as you can see, I didn't really make many changes to this from the default lot. Did do some, obviously moved because the wishing well's initially in this corner here when you take it off the out of your library. So I fenced that in, and obviously I was originally going to extend the toilet cubicle out and just leave that little greenhouse space at the other side, but it ruined the symmetry of that building, so that's why I moved it the other way. Then we've got this statue, and obviously this is a bronze statue, but I thought, it would be in keeping with the idea of like a Victorian era park, because that's what the romantic garden stuff, if you read the description of that pack, it's inspired to sort of, that was the inspiration for it. Um, Now this little tree, as we follow around, more heavy landscaping. This tree stump is from Cottage Living. I put it in here just because I thought it'd be fun to have rabbits roam around the lot, because that's what, so you could say it's called the Wild Rabbit Home. If you don't, it's the only, I think it's the only item I've used from Cottage Living. I was trying out the Cottage Living wedding arch, but in the end I decided not to use it. So if you don't have cottage living, you'll just have to put another plant or something in the place of that stump. But like I say, I put it in because this is mostly going to be for my default save, you see. Now the last part, again, I didn't really touch this bit, but we come down into this courtyard where we've got a fountain. Well, actually, we've got quite a few sort of fountains and ponds and plants and things. What I do like is they have actually sized this up. So this is the same, this thing here is what I've used up there. But the Sims team, when they built this, they must have sized it up. And they sized up a couple of bushes, I noticed as well. But I suppose with this just being a lot that's in your library, so if you click where it says open the gallery, there's a tab for library. Um, they must be allowed to do things for those kind of lots that they're not allowed to do for ones that just come with the game. But all I did down here was add in this little bench and these two flower things outside of it, because other than coming to view sculptures down here, obviously there was those little benches there. I thought, it makes it a bit more usable. I did like the idea of maybe putting a wedding arch there as well. But then I thought, well, sometimes the game gets a bit confused if you've got more than one wedding arch on the same lot, especially if you're trying to do a sort of in-game wedding event, rather than just having your Sims just go up to a lot and click on it. Uh, So that is, I've called the lot Magnolia Gardens. I will be popping it up on the gallery for you. Okay, so that is this up on the gallery. I don't know why it's here saying that it doesn't use any pack specific content, because I've used romantic garden stuff quite heavily. I've also used cottage living and this like spandrel that I've put across there. That's from vampires. Um, so I don't know why it's not showing that. What I would say is, if you do want this lot in your game, whether you do I'd say is you really need romantic garden stuff. Um, but the other packs, um, you'd be able to replace it quite easily. Um, so I've just changed the description to Magnolia Park had a grand Victorian makeover with the addition of the Lost Gardens of Healing. Come and share a romantic moment within the serenity of the park's grounds, get married, or toss a coin into the fabled well and make a wish with the hashtags JAttemptsGames and Magnolia Blossom Park. That's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, why not hit that like button or drop me a message down in the comment section below and consider subscribing. It's completely free and really helps me out. You can also follow me over on Instagram at jattemptsgames with underscores in between each of the words. Bye now. Catch you next time.